We're live. We are live. Hello, everybody. Alicia, bestie Becky. We are here. We don't know what we're doing. I mean, it's in
Yeah.
our title. We didn't plan this. We just spent the weekend together. Her Becky had to drive like 7 hours home, and she's back in the full swing of things. I'm guessing, full on mom mode.
Well, yeah, actually, you're not wrong at all. I spent almost all of today cleaning your godson's bedroom and
Oh
doing his
goodness.
laundry. Well, so part of it was my fault because I told him when we moved in that I would help him organize his room,
Mm-hmm.
and I failed to do that, and so his room was a disaster. So partly that was my fault, but so I went through and organized it today. I got all of his laundry done and put away, so he is good to go for 48 to 72 hours before it's a mess again.
I remember those days when I could not keep my room clean. She'd have to come threaten with me with a garbage bag before I would actually do anything about it.
See, Connor's not emotionally attached to things. So, like, there's not a whole lot in his room that I could threaten to get rid of that would motivate him.
Mm. I just read an Am I the Asshole thing that Jason sent me that made me so furious about a fiance throwing away a box of old stuffed animals that his fiance like has been collecting since childhood. So all of her childhood ones he just threw away without asking her. And then he's like, I don't understand the big deal. I'm helping you grow up. Excuse you?
I'm like, I'm about to outgrow you.
You oh she broke it off. She now lives
Good
with
for
the
her,
sister who backed up the fiance. His whole family did. Backed her up. And you're supposed to choose my side, not when you're an asshole.
right?
And so Jason and I'm like, thank you for not for respecting me enough to never throw my stuff away. But he also had a mom who sold all of his stuff, so
Yeah.
mm, but yeah. Sorry, that got me excited. I mean, I don't have stuffed animals like displayed or anything, but I still have Ruffy in my
Do
closet.
you really?
I do. I still have him.
I love
And he's
that.
he's just up there. I mean, when we had the fires that were right by our house, I
Mhm.
didn't grab my stuffed animal, but I grabbed Jason's, the only one that he had still from his childhood, because it's in my office. It's on one of my shelves right by my desk, and I always grab that when we have to rush out of the house because I know it's important to him. So like, I was cleaning off my shelves, and even then, I'm like, "Is this one yours? Like, is it okay if I get like you have final say if it's yours?" I would never want to get rid of something that's not mine. I just feel like that's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
So, except
Although
for
I will
food.
say there is occasionally the temptation to just go through and purge everything.
There definitely is, especially when you're downsizing the way you guys are. But
We thought we did a really good job downsizing, and then we moved from the 1,900 square foot house in California to the 2,500 square foot townhouse, and it is full.
how did that happen? Did you get stuff in the move, or
No,
did they leave anything there? Because I know it's your
no,
father-in-law's. No? Hmm.
no. I mean, he's been renting this place out for years, but um, I mean, you remember the big blue couch, the big U-shaped one? So we still had that when we moved to California, but it didn't like the living room was too small to hold it, so we had one section of it was actually like shoved into the closet under the stairs. We got rid of that whole couch. We got rid of the striped couch. The only couch we have left in the house is this brown one over here. We have two recliners in the living room.
Nice. I want a recliner so bad, but I have cats. And I just imagine one of them getting under there and closing in on a cat, and I just can't do it. So
Yeah, and we bought the ones that like swivel and rock and
they
stuff.
would
All
be
that.
all up underneath that. Oh, I see a
Mhm.
wristband. I saw a hand.
He is shooing the boy. I had to make it clear to the children that I don't like it when they're on the internet.
That's fair. I think we talked about that last time, or like I always call the boy,
Yeah.
and for that reason specifically. Mostly because he doesn't want to be on the internet. He's old enough to figure it out, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, they'll pop up occasionally on my website, but nobody looks at it, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for right now. Yeah.
Oh goodness. So writing stuff, have you gotten any done since you've been home?
Not today because I had planned I told you revamped my workout routine. And so today was a planned 5 mile walk, which I did, but I was like, I haven't slept in the last couple of nights, so I was moving at like a glacial pace today. It took me forever to get through those miles. And then got home and I did my dumbbell routine. And then I went, the only lazy thing I did today was I went out and I tanned for 40 minutes and then came back in. And usually my process there is I'll come back in and go take a shower, go eat something, and then whatever else I'm going to do for the day. But I thought about it and I was like, well, I've got a bunch of cleaning to do, which means I'm going to get all gross. Might as well wait. So I dove right into cleaning and just, stuck with it all day. And it was like a lot of up and down the stairs. And then, eventually had to walk over to the school to pick up Taylor because she stays a little bit later on Tuesdays for a little while because, she's got drama club, which is awesome.
Fun.
And then I was just more cleaning until Zach came home and told me I needed to make myself mildly presentable because we were going out to get Afghan food for dinner and it was really good. And then we came back and I had 2.5 loads of Connor's laundry to put away. So I was racing the clock to get done in time to be up here. But I did it. The laundry is all done. It's all put away. I would say our laundry is done, but because we both work out and then do other things, we go through laundry so quickly, me and him. So
yeah,
whatever.
Ditto. I just did all of my laundry.
I did get a little. Not. I think yesterday I got maybe a couple hundred words written, not a lot. And I don't know. Let me check. And then I did a lot of note. Oh, I didn't even write that. I wrote 43 words yesterday. But I got 600 of them done in comments and notes. And
you got a lot done when you were here with me.
I did.
Those productive, creative pheromones going on.
Yes.
Did I ever tell you where that came from?
Yes, but I'm very tired and I forget.
My writing buddy, Betty Ann,
That's
was
right.
telling
Yeah.
me that she was missing me and she accidentally autocorrect that you're my crutch to you're my crotch, which is why it's pheromones. And it became this whole thing that I was a superhero with the productive pheromones and I just wafted them at people. If I could draw, I would totally make a comic strip out of that. But yeah.
Definitely not where my talents lie either. I'm not a visual artist.
Used to be a long time ago, but you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at cartoons. I can do realistic stuff more than cartoons. Bella can draw though.
I could never do any of it. Hannah could. Emma can. I could not. That was not a talent they got from their mother.
I remember my hand used to cramp. I used to like to draw so much because I would use my finger to balance. And this thing, it still cramps when I type too much or do too much on my mouse. It's ridiculous. Because I like to do stuff like design things like you saw a moment ago in the thing I made. Which when I sent it to my boss, she had to voice message me back immediately. She's like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "Yes, I did." Because I sent her the unfinished version of it. I'm like, I just want to know if this is the direction that we want to go in before I spend time and therefore your money doing something you're not going to want. So, because I'm actually trying to be conscious, of other people's money that I work for. But I like to do that kind of thing because I don't like to draw as much as I used to. But I did get my writing done today. Woo.
Yeah.
It was a rather easy chapter because when I outline, I have to submit the outline to get it approved and stuff. It has to be pretty detailed. This was one of those chapters that I think I had 800 words in my outline for that chapter. So turning it into an actual full-blown chapter is a lot easier than when I get to the last 10 chapters of my outline where I'm tired of writing my outline and I'm like, I'll figure this out later. And so when I get there, I'm gonna be like, damn it, why didn't you just figure it out then? Because I was tired.
I had some scenes in my head for this, and when I got those particular scenes knocked out, after that, like I realized that I really needed, because without an outline, like I don't. There's too many possibilities. It's like when you're standing in a grocery store and they have like 70 versions of the same thing, and you're trying to decide which one you want, but it's like decision fatigue. Like it's just I don't know where to go. So I had to make myself an outline. Oh, I did. However, when I was in the middle of a walk, I did have to stop and text myself ideas that I had for further down the line.
I had an idea this morning that I wrote in my note app um, from watching Star Trek Lower Decks, the cartoon.
Mhm,
There's this very little snippet in one of the episodes where one of the head of security dies and then he comes back and he explains it to the guy he died saving. He's like, we try to keep this from you. And he like, you wake up in this place and you kind of have to battle your way out. And I'm like, that would be a really cool story where you don't know these people are dead and that the battle they're having is to get back to life.
mhm.
That would be a super cool story. So I had to jot that down to myself. I might do something like that.
That's really interesting. Like, when you take something and make it completely unknown. And there are certain, like, I mean, there are different aspects of that. Like, I think we had a conversation recently about, um, yeah, I had seen somebody on TikTok ask an editor a question about um, writing as a blind author and writing a blind character. And it made me think, like, what if you just completely, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a blind character, but if you just completely left out all cues for one sense, like, there's no olfactory cues, there's no visual cues, there's no audio cues, like, it's all focused on other things.
Or even making them colorblind. That'd be a cool one. That somebody who could see could probably grasp a little bit more than trying to write them blind. Because I don't feel like I could write somebody who was blind because I would never, there's no way I would know what that was like.
So, and that's exactly what I was thinking. But when I had the idea, like that lead on idea, it was like I said, not necessarily writing the character to be blind, just overall, like, even when you get to the revision stage, just being very careful with the edits and just going through and, oh, the color red, take that out because we're not talking about color. We're not talking about, what does the sunset look like? Or, you can see that that person is wearing, you know, wool or velvet, or, you take out the things that we would normally process through our
Visually.
vision and find another way to incorporate it.
That would be an interesting writing exercise
Hmm.
at the very least. We should try doing that sometime. Not tonight. I don't think I have it in me, but
I know I don't have it in me to
we should definitely do so. We should add that to the list of things. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna create a list of things.
list of things.
Yes, I like lists. And you'll have to remind me what this means later, I'm sure, but I put my literally writing like blind. That was my note. Not even a full sentence, but it works.
I will fixate on that until you ask me, and then I'll have no clue.
I'm sure it will trigger something. I get apple pie tonight. I'm pretty excited. I fit it into my macros today, into my calories. I
Yay!
like started my day off with protein heavy. I found my mom's steamer, so I got to steam my egg whites this morning for my
Nice.
breakfast. Yes. And then I had my salmon toast that I've been having. I used up all my salmon. It's gone. Yeah. It's fine, but I also had enchiladas today.
Yummy.
Yes, homemade ones because that's how I do.
I had overnight oats. Oh, there's my package. I had overnight oats. Doorbell's ringing at 8 something at night. Um, Overnight oats,
Weird.
and then I had a salad with grilled chicken in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it also had like a little bit of bacon and some honey mustard and some Monterey cheddar. So, you know, not exactly the low calorie meal it should have been. And then we went and had dinner, and I had something very similar to a chicken gyro. Um, and let me tell you, the naan that they make in that restaurant is so good.
Mm,
Connor just had this
no.
big old piece of naan for dinner, and then he ate some of mine. Um,
Nice.
so we had that, and I had a Pepsi with dinner. So I like, and it's one of those things where like, you kind of have to like guesstimate because it's a restaurant that doesn't add the nutritional info, so you just gotta guess.
Yeah.
I hope you're in the right zone.
Yeah. That's kind of what I've been doing here because I don't have a scale and I
Mhm.
literally weigh everything when I'm like everything when I'm home. If it goes in my body, it's weighed, except for water. Like I even, well, I guess I do teaspoons and stuff like that for like my tea when I put sugar in it, but yeah, it's very weird to not be doing that right now. So yeah, guesstimating. I'm guessing that I had 125 grams of chicken in my enchilada today because an average Costco chicken is like 900 grams of chicken.
Mhm.
And I used a whole chicken in the eight that I made. So 115, whatever. Works for me. I
Yep.
round up. So then hopefully I'm
Try
still in a
to.
calorie deficit.
I tried to like I looked for like I just put in like chicken gyro
Mm-hmm.
into my fitness pal and then kind of like scrolled to one that I thought maybe might be a good representation.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm going out tomorrow to a steak place, so that's going to be an interesting day in my. I don't use my Fitness Pal. I use Fat Secret. It's
Hmm.
got more options for the free version than my Fitness Pal does. So, or at least it did when I started using it. I don't know.
I way back when several years ago when I first started, I was paying for the Mayo Clinic diet and I was doing really well with it for a while there. The problem is that A, you're paying for it and it's not cheap. Um, but you get access to a whole lot of stuff through them. But
Was one of them my Fitness Pal?
no, they have their own app.
Do they?
Hmm.
Hmm.
I've actually found it easier to find established recipes in there, but there's also like because you're paying for it, you have the opportunity to scan barcodes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if something is not listed in there. Now with my Fitness Pal, you can do that, but you have to do it with paid version, and I'm using the free version. So
Fat Secret, you can do that too. You can scan for free.
okay.
I think that might be why I went to that one. But I have so many of my own recipes in
Yeah.
there now that it's
I've
gotten
actually
pretty
done a
easy.
few times like if I'm baking for other people, like I'll actually sit there and calculate the approximate calories per slice of something. Like I did it, I made a very large chocolate cake with peanut butter buttercream for the photo club when I left MPC. And sat there
That
and I
sounds good.
calculated out the calories and like I wrote all the possible allergens and like the calories per slice on it because I knew we had a couple of guys in there that were like really big into fitness and then yeah, it's one of the arts. So of course you get people who have like the whole litany of allergies. Just happens. For some
It's
reason people with allergies love doing art related things. Um
things that let you stay inside,
yeah.
away from those allergies.
But
Hmm.
so I wrote that out like I get the like the baker spots, like I wrote it all out on the box.
I did that when I used to meal prep for my friend, and she was on a keto diet, so I tried to give her a breakdown of the macros, at least the
Mhm.
top three, as much as I could, anyways.
I'm too
Um,
lazy
I
for macros. I just worry about calories and call it good.
well, as you know, low fat diet for my heart, so
Yeah.
I worry about my
The
macros. I try
only
to do high protein, low
the
fat.
only thing that my doctors told me that they wanted me to try was the whole low FODMAP thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know,
Jason wants me to do that.
well, so I mean, I actually have a bunch of low FODMAP recipes that we like. So there's like tandoori chicken and peri peri chicken and these I was telling you about these while I was up there. The herbed balsamic chicken and the spicy, not spicy, but spiced lemon chicken and a whole litany of things. And so I printed those out along with some of our favorite low calorie meals and I stuck them in a black binder and it's sitting in the pantry with all my other cookbooks.
I just have my cookbook sitting on my counter. I use one of them a lot.
I had several commercial ones that either I bought or that have been bought for me over the years, but then I had also put together a collection of like all of our family favorites and I put them in a binder and then I decided that wasn't good enough. So I had them printed into a cook, like it's not overly professional looking, but it's like a legit cookbook. Um,
I want to do that.
but it was after I did that that I found all of those, you know, healthier recipes. So they're in their own thing. Because like the family cookbook, that's got like the Christmas cookies and all of the cake recipes and the pies and the mac and cheese.
Hmm. I have all of my nanas and my grandmas. I have them all in pictures. I took pictures of all the recipes so that I wouldn't take them from anybody else, but I would have them.
Yeah.
And I have them all in a folder. And see, I would have to make it pretty, which is why it's not done yet. And I'd need to make them to take pictures, which is why it's not done yet. A cookbook has been on my list for 3 years.
I did just sort of generic pictures just for like the heading pages, like the chapter pages, and then like, like so I have like a dinner section, and that dinner section is broken down into like um beef, pork, fish, poultry, so on and so
Hmm.
forth. And then so each of those pages has a picture of something that's in that book. But most of those pictures came from like Pixabay. Most of them are not because I was
Yours.
not going to sit there and make every recipe in there just to take a damn picture.
I actually put together a cookbook freelancing for Joyce Wentz is her name. And she hired me to edit her cookbook and then format it. And so she had a professional photographer come and take photos of she was a caterer beforehand, so like
Mm,
she could
that
make
makes
those
sense.
things. Um and it was she had really pretty pictures and the way I had it formatted originally was going to be too much cost too much to print.
Hmm.
So I ended up like 'cause I had like full page pictures for the recipes and stuff. It still turned out really good. I have that's one of the cookbooks sitting on my counter. I really love her strawberry cake. And she had her book party that I went to. She invited me. Our picture was in the paper because,
Nice.
you know, uh, and I remember she was selling the books and whatnot. Like she had all of the recipes that she made so people could taste them and all these other things. And when she was selling books, I was helping her with that. I was taking the money for her. And she, because a lot of them were friends and family and whatnot, she'd get talking and then somebody else would want them signed. And so I'd have to be like, all right, thank you so much. Now we have somebody else that needs your, and so I was
You
like,
have to,
I was pretty much like her,
you have to be the
um,
keeper. Yeah.
yeah, her manager for the night, which was fun. And I was
Oh, but
like, this is something I like to do.
there's a celebrity, I forget who, but there's a specific celebrity that I've heard talked about who has a keeper that just like ushers them down along the line of people that it might have been Arnold Schwarzenegger now that I think about it, back before he was, into politics. But
I don't remember what the term is for that. It's like I don't know if that's the publicist or if that's just a personal assistant who does that or what, but I would be good at that job.
I always think of it as like I say keeper because like how you see somebody that's kind of a hot mess and you're like, you need a keeper. Or like
I,
short for gatekeeper.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done that to people a lot. So yeah, I've been a lot of people's keepers, mostly Jason's.
Well, that
Which,
one's like herding cats regardless.
yeah, and you know what's funny is he's the cat herder. Like literally, he herds our cats, and then I herd Jason.
Not an easy task.
Yeah. Apparently, the cats have taken up my spot in bed since I've been gone, so he hasn't had to like struggle with being kicked by Frodo because he likes to sleep between us.
Hmm.
Oh my God, that cat. Did I tell you when I was cuddling Jason, he came up, walked down the seam between us, and slowly sank between our heads. and purred his full butt off. He never purrs. That cat never purrs, but he was purring because he was so happy to just be stuck between us. That was so cute. He's such a cute cat. My little AI kitty.
My
He,
6-year-old does that sometimes. She'll climb in bed with us and just kind of weasel her way in
that was
and then
me.
take up the whole bed. How does somebody that small take up that much of a California king? I don't understand. Maybe I need an Alaskan king.
Maybe. I don't know what the difference is. See, I don't think it would matter how big the bed is. I think the cats would still crowd. Yeah. I don't know. Um, what book do we want to start with reading? Do we want to start with reading one of the fiction books or one of the craft books? It took me a second to get that word to snap it out of the air.
Well, you know what we could do is we could treat the fiction books sort of like a book club ish for the two of us, and then for the reference books, we could do those like a chapter at a time and talk about each chapter as it goes.
I think that'd be a good idea. I know the first book I suggested, probably the in parts, because I think it's got like 3 or 4 parts. It's rather short.
Mhm.
Um, I read the first chapter and I'm like, this didn't tell me anything. It was an introductory chapter. So I think parts might be. I mean, it's like this is for an author. If you're this kind of author, this kind of author, I'm like, let's just get to it. I know what kind of author I am. I've been doing this a while. I mean,
I,
that part wasn't for me, to be fair. So
and not everything will be like
no,
there's going to be stuff in each of these books that you are already intimately familiar with. I was really like excited when I stumbled across that the
show
art
don't
of
tell.
showing or whatever. Yeah, I was like, hey, we were just talking about this.
Not a book I need, but I like that it's out there.
Yeah.
I remember having that conversation with Jason one time. What's the difference between, showing and telling? And so I tried to explain it, and he's like, now I'm like, all right, let me give you an example then, because I was editing the anthologies at the time. And there was a story, it was a Cinderella retelling. And during the scene, they did it so well because the character hated seeing the castle through her window. And if you had just said the character hated seeing the castle through the window, that's totally telling. But what was happening is that she'd be doing something, she'd look out the window, that fucking castle, and then go about doing something else and see it again, that fucking castle. And like you
Yeah, like
slowly felt
you get
that
that like
building.
that murmuring or that like try your best to describe that like that guttural reaction to something and how not just like the emotional reaction but also like how your body physically reacts to stimulus around you.
Hmm. Which also, to be fair, telling has its place. So like I hate it when people say just show, don't tell. I'm like, no, I don't need you to show me everything either.
Right.
Because that would take for fucking ever. So,
And
um,
right.
oh my God, Stephen King.
The Hannah
I'm
Gabal.
sh Yeah, I'm sure there's more, but yes. That was actually something that took me a really long time to learn when I first started writing, was that I did not need to give the step-by-step actions of my characters. Like I was always like, and then they did this when they were acting. I'm like, I don't need to say every little thing they did with their hands. If they spoke with their hands, I would be here all day. Like it's just unnecessary to give a
Mhm.
step-by-step action. Something again, Betty and I talk about all the time is like sometimes getting them out of the car is so freaking hard. Like how the hell do you get your character out of the car? You have to just say it and then they got out of the car. Instead
Unless
of
there's like something special about how they got out of the car, the movement they made, they busted their ass on the red carpet, like
right. Uh, but that's one of our favorite sayings.
am I chasing you away?
No, do it five.
What do you say?
He said, no, I'm going to steal your pie.
Oh, I'm having a piece of pie after this, so I totally get it.
It's been very popular.
Mom makes good pie.
She does.
It's always like when we used to go to Thanksgiving, she'd have to make two because the first one wouldn't last long enough for everybody to get one. And then whoever brought the other pies got jealous because mom's pie was gone and theirs wasn't. Yeah. I can't replicate it either. As long as I've been doing it with her, I've tried to make it on my own. It's not the same. It's just not the
So
same.
the first several times I made it, I made the rookie mistake of, thinking, oh, I'm going to use my favorite apple that I eat all the time, which is the Red Delicious. But the Red Delicious is too sweet.
Red
So, you know,
Delicious is nasty.
they're actually the healthiest varietal.
That is awesome, but I hate the way they taste.
I love
Which
them.
is funny. I actually really like Cortland apples, but
So for pie making, the semi-sweet or the semi-tarts are the best. I usually cannot find Cortlands anywhere I live. So I usually stick to the Macintosh.
that's what
Which
I
is
do
interesting
too.
because they're so much smaller than the Cortlands, you
You
know?
know what's funny is that the Cortlands at my local grocer, they're labeled as Macintosh, but they're Cortlands.
Huh.
I can tell by the smell of them because I will pick up an apple and smell it, and that's how I know if I'm gonna like it or not.
Mhm.
But
There was one varietal where we were apple picking a couple of weeks ago with my in-laws called the Jonathan, and that was another one that I thought, like, I was eating it, it was a semi-sweet, but I was eating it and I was like, this doesn't quite taste right for pie, I don't think. But kind of like if you were going to make oatmeal and chop up apples to put in the oatmeal, that was an apple for that.
you see, there's this really funny thing because mom just uses the Cortlands, right? When she does
Hmm.
it. But there was somebody I watched making an apple pie. I think she's one of a Swedish baker. And she goes, I always have to use two kinds of apples because she pre-cooks it, on the stovetop and then puts it in the crust, which mom does not do.
Right.
Um, she's like, I want to find one that's firm and that's going to keep its shape, and then one that's going to turn into mush, which is going to create some of the filling,
Hmm.
like keeping it
Yeah, so you
together.
get that gooey, sticky. Yeah.
And that's not how I like my apple pies. I like the way mom does it because that's always been my favorite.
So there have been a couple of times where I've done it stovetop first, but I almost never put the actual apples on the stove. I just like I make the sauce and then just mix it with the apples and then pour it in the pan and the pie crust.
That's a happy
Um,
in between.
yeah, but it was when I've done it, it's been like, you melt the butter and then you add, your sugar and your seasonings and a little bit of salt, stuff that you're going to put in there, and then the fun part is the dark rum. And then
I
you
don't
cook it
know if
down
I've
so
ever
it gets really syrupy, and then mix
Mhm.
it with the apples and then bake it. And it comes out really good. I've also done it where I've soaked the apples in a little bit of wine first. So I've done a lot of experimenting. And then my recent ones that I made after we went apple picking, I waited a little bit too long. So, a bunch of my Macintoshes were not in great condition. So I wound up with, what did I do? It was the Macintosh. There was another semi-tart variety. I forget which one. And then I think Golden Delicious, just to make enough to get them in there. And then like I did one with a standard pie crust top and then the other one with a apple crisp topping.
I like apple crisp topping too. When I make them at home, I've made them with pink ladies, which aren't bad. They're my favorite to eat though, and they're very tart, which is why I like to eat them that way. I like tart apples.
Zach's favorite is the gala apples.
Sorry, I feel like they're bland. Much
They're
like
just
how I feel
like
about the Red Delicious, unfortunately.
I I think the galas are good if you're gonna do like apples with peanut butter on them.
Yeah, I could see that. That way the apple flavor is not overpowering the peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
I also like oh my God, why can't I think of the name of it? It's the green one.
The Granny Smiths.
Yeah, I like those. I like tart. I like sour.
See, I like the semi tarts. I don't like the full tarts. They're too much.
I like tart. Like I told you before, I tried to peel a lime and eat it, but the burning of my taste buds got the better of me. I was enjoying the shit out of it too, but it literally
Hmm.
burnt my mouth.
I get to make a pineapple upside down cake this week.
Ooh. So that's something I have in my house a lot is pineapple because the husband is allergic to pineapple. He can do the juice, apparently, but he can't have the flesh.
Interesting.
Did he ever tell you that story at Thanksgiving and Christmas how he'd always get in trouble? because I put the ham in the oven and it have the pineapple along the top,
I do
and
that
he'd
too.
eat it. And they were taking him to the hospital, and he was still eating it on the way there, even though his throat was closing up. He's like, so good.
For a couple of years now, my younger sister, the only flavor she could taste was pineapple, because after she had COVID and lost her sense of taste and sense of smell, and then as it slowly started coming back, it was like pineapple was like the one thing.
I felt so bad for some people that lost their taste buds during COVID, because some of them, like, it didn't go back to normal, like
Yeah.
what they used to have, and like, so chocolate tastes like dirt. I'm like, I don't know how I would survive if chocolate tasted like dirt.
I would cry all the time. And the thing is, like, I don't eat a lot of chocolate anymore. Like,
Mhm. I do.
but when I do, like, I will go through it. Like, especially you hand me some Lindor chocolates.
Yeah, we were talking about those. My favorite chocolate to eat is actually Choco Love, and it's a dark chocolate with salted almond butter in it. And I just break off two at a time, and that's usually what I have as a snack at night. So,
There was I was telling you this weekend about my trip to Thousand Islands Winery a few years ago and how I bought out half the store. And they had I forget what the brand was, but they had a collection of chocolate bars, and they were all from Germany, because the guy that owns the winery spent a chunk of his military career in Germany, so he brought some stuff back with him. And I have not been able to find those anywhere else, which makes me really sad, because they were really yummy.
boo. That is my new phrase instead of saying I'm sorry, is boo.
Boo.
Jason has gotten me out of the habit of saying I'm sorry about a lot of things. And he's like,
Mine
just
has
say
been
that sucks.
mine's been oh ew.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Oh, goodness. I don't know.
No,
Oh,
no.
back to the book thing I was asking about. What book do we want to start with? I have the easiest access to One Dark Window because I did find an audiobook for it.
I'm good with whatever.
Okay. I know I like Rachel Gillig too. If you ever get a chance to read The Moth in the Night, by the way, by her, I read the first, it's a duology. I read the first one. Oh my God. It was such an easy 5-star read for me. I'm
Was
just
it?
saying. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did make a blog post.
Did you?
Yes, and it was a very long one, because I haven't done one since like right after I graduated in MPC. Um, I'm so bad about updating that damn thing.
I mean, me too.
Um, the number of various wish lists that I have on Amazon is disturbing.
Ridiculous.
Honestly, yeah. Like I have. Listen to this, okay? I have my default wish list, which is just random things that I would like for myself for no good reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I have one specifically for not just photography, but specifically for alternative photographic processes. Then I have a books one, and then I have one for bookshelves and furniture that I think I might want. And then I have school supply lists for the two littles. And then I have some for gift ideas for Connor, Emma, Taylor, Zach, and then one for everyone else. I have a Halloween list. I have a list of items that I would need, because I had wanted to do homemade gift baskets for a bunch of people for Christmas this year. And I kind of went off the rails a little bit with it. And then I had to like realize I needed to calm down, because like the stuff on that list equaled something like $1,200 or $1,300 just for the things to put the baskets together, not including the basket.
Oh my goodness, girl.
So there's that. And then things that I would like to have for the household in general, a generalized photography list. And then like I told you, I got rid of like half of my physical books, moving. But I have a list of books that I want physical copies of, like kind of more, instead of just buying every physical book that I can get my hands on, kind of just curating a list of the ones that I want and would be likely to read again. And then I made a list when I was recovering from surgery and spending every day on opiates, for pain. And it's so potential new hobbies. And that was about the time I thought that it would be fun to learn wood burning, and it's a good thing I didn't buy anything because I think that would be a terrible idea for me.
Wood burning is not for the accident prone.
And then I have one for things that I would like to have. And this one I actually put together because, we were going on the cruise this summer. And so I put together a list of things that I would like to take with us based on, it was my first cruise. So based on what I had seen, a lot of commonalities of people saying, if you're going on a cruise, take this, this, and this. And then just, new outfits and stuff because I'm prissy. And when I go on something new, I like to have new clothes.
I hear you. I have like
the,
3 wish lists I haven't looked at in years.
The new hobby thing, like I started teaching myself how to embroider when I was on bed rest. And then my photography mentor and friend, Becky, another Becky, gave me a bunch of stuff. And so now I have this whole thing full of embroidery things. And I have had no time to do anything with it since we got here. So anyway, books.
The Night and the Moth.
Right. Okay. And then Wonder Thunder.
Mom,
I'm debating on if
do you
I
have
wanted
to do it right now?
Wash my things.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, honey. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Sorry about that.
Your pie has been very popular.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad everybody likes it.
When we were on here, Zach snuck across the screen and she's like, "Am I kicking you out?" And he's like, "No, I'm gonna go get the pie." Yes.
I got a big smile on my face.
She does. I'm totally gonna eat that pie too. Can't. See, I just had a big plate of cheddar broccoli rice and then broccoli. And so I'm still kind of full from that. But
that won't last very long though, because like the vegetables will, go through quick. But
I probably shouldn't eat at 9 o'clock at night, but it's gonna happen anyways.
I came home and my family had drank all of the sparkling ice flavored waters. Which I decided when I was very tired in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep 2 nights ago that I was going to correct that. And now I have like 6 fucking packs of the damn things.
Oops.
And they'll go fast. Honestly, we go through them so quick. But this one came from the Christmas flavored ones. This one is winter punch and it's yummy.
What is a winter punch, I wonder?
So this one has, take these off because I can't see up close to them on. Got apple juice concentrate, green tea extract.
I wonder if it's like a wassail.
I don't know. I really hate it when they don't tell you what flavors. They're just like fruit flavors. Yeah, I understand that, but which fruits? Like the picture on the front has pomegranate, oranges, and grapes.
It's an interesting combo.
It's yummy.
I do like grape juice. I don't know if I've ever had pomegranate juice.
I'm not a big fan of pomegranate on its own, but if it's like part of something, I think it's pretty good.
I'm still doing the happy dance.
Still happy dancing. I like to happy dance too.
I was doing it when we were at dinner tonight. Taylor was like, "Why are you dancing?" And Zach goes, "That's your mom's happy food dance."
You dance when you eat too, because it makes me. Did I tell you that my Uncle John told me that? He's the one that pointed out to me when we were out eating one time. He's like, "You're always dancing when you eat." I'm like, "I like food. It does make me happy." And so he would dance a little bit with me. And ever since then, I've been like, I do dance when I eat. Just sitting there bopping.
I have a video of Taylor as a toddler dancing in her high chair. I forget what she was eating, but she was dancing.
And she liked it. Oh, update for you. I am not going to be here Tuesday next week because we have a live show for my job. Tuesday next week at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern. So
Okay.
where we will be interviewing authors and playing games, which is fun. I came up with some fun games. Okay, like I didn't actually come up with the games, but I came up with the parts of the game. One of which is an emoji game. So like try to describe a book in emojis and have people guess what book that is. It was pretty fun. The first round we had last time were like they got them so quick, it was ridiculous. So I tried to make them a little bit harder.
Mhm.
And then I did famous quotes from famous books. And because the boss's main audience is mystery thrillers, that's
Mhm.
what I went with. And I'm pretty excited about some of them were kind of bad because mystery thrillers, so like deathy stuff. But I did pick some from some of my favorite authors. So I'm
Nice.
happy. And we're going to be interviewing a cozy mystery author who writes witchy stuff, and then a paranormal author who writes about Amish vampires. Should be an interesting mix.
Do you remember a while ago? I told you I had an idea about sort of like an urban fantasy with, um, yeah, military style thing, but witches involved in the military, but known only to certain like sections of the government, not known to like people around them, and how they would operate under those conditions. That one's been bugging me lately.
I, since you've told me about that, I think I saw, I don't know if it was a book, but a TV show that did that.
Really?
I can't remember what it was. It was early when I started at Bite Me Box. I was looking up things to write about for articles for I Love Vampire novels. And I remember seeing one of them mentioning that. I don't know if it was like they were secret or not, but it was witches in the military. I do remember that much of it. But it could have been just a fantasy where there were witches in the military. So
Mhm.
like take me saying it's out there with a grain of salt. But I remember seeing something similar. It was really interesting concept.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
That one's just like for some reason I like that one's on my mind a lot lately.
is it New Project Syndrome? Tiny New Project Syndrome?
Maybe, but I think it was kind of more that like I had the idea, I liked the idea, and then I put it on the burner to let it stew, and it just decided it was going to boil over a little bit. So now I got to set a wooden spoon on top of it and
So it won't
let it simmer
crash into
down.
the burner.
Yeah.
See, about the past the three-quarter mark of my books, I get that urge to start something new right when I'm near the finish line. That's usually what happens to me. So I'm just,
I realized I'm in kind of a weird spot, and the reason I sat down yesterday and did so many like notes as opposed to actual writing is because, and I kind of cheated, really. Like they're not new notes. I took all of my sticky notes that I had all over the place because I took them out of the book and I put them back on the thing, and they fell off. So I rewrote them and stuck them on my monitor, and they kept falling off. So I just did a notes section in the document, and I was looking at what I have left, and it's not a lot. Like it's like 8 headings worth of stuff, and one or two of them are mostly written already.
nice.
Three of them are mostly written already. Just stuff that I need connective tissue and refinement for, but I'm like I haven't messed with any of that in a while. And so I know that some of the ideas that I had in there are going to need some tweaking in order to fit with the stuff that I've already written.
Mm-hmm. That is part of the revision. It's funny. You have other than not writing chronologically because Betty Ann does that too, but the way she drafts things I find very interesting because she will draft until two-thirds to three-quarters of the way through her book, and then she has to start at the beginning and go through it all to make sure it all makes sense based on where she went and make
Mhm.
things set that up, and then she can write her ending. Which I think is a fascinating way of doing that. And it seems you're doing semi-similar to that.
Similar, but I wrote the ending pretty early in the process.
Does your ending still fit?
So what's interesting about that is that I had gone back a while ago and decided that there was there was a hint of a particular trope in there that I decided didn't work. So like I didn't delete it, but I left myself a comment on that whole like 2 paragraphs. I highlighted the whole 2 paragraphs and left a comment. I was like, hey, we need to fix this. And I've been doing that as I go along. Like if I bring something up that I know ties into something before, I'll leave myself a note like, hey, you need to go back to this section, and I'll name this section so I know where I'm going. Go back to this section and verify that these match. So I have a lot of revisionary comments that I've been doing as I go along, but I haven't done any really like serious revision itself other than, you know, maybe a sentence here or there that didn't fit with what I was trying to do.
Betty Ann just sent me a text message. I think she's watching. Hi, Betty Ann. I was talking about you, which I do quite often on live streams, I feel like, because it's another writing reference that I have to talk about. I am so weird when I write, I feel like, because I'm strictly like, if I'm stuck, I can't skip. And a lot of people do revisions after they finish their first draft, but my first draft is nearly complete usually when I finish it. And I don't know why that is, but that's just the way it is. Because one book, I didn't do that, and I had to go back and fill things in. And I was so mad at myself for it 'cause I fucking hated it. I will never do it again. I will just suffer through the process the first time. Oh, she is here. She says hi.
I
You're
think
so
that
cute.
I think if you wait until you're done, I feel like if you take the conventional advice, you wait until you're done with your first draft and then you take a period of time where you don't touch it at all and then you go back and revise. I feel like that's where you end up rewriting the whole book. For a lot of people.
For a lot of people.
Not you specifically, just you generalized.
Right. Because I've done that and I still haven't changed barely anything in the book after a year of letting it sit. Although I
But
did split it into 2 books. So, I mean, there's that, but I didn't have to change much to do that either.
yeah.
'Cause, I think we were talking about before the whole idea of zero drafting, and I think a lot of the times that kind of drafting, so like you're just getting the story out to get the story out to see what your ideas are and where they go. That's when you let it sit and then you come back to it and you pretty much write an entire new draft based off of
Mhm.
the original, which I think is an interesting concept. I again would fucking hate that process because if I'm gonna write it, I'm gonna write it right the first time. And that sounds so cocky and conceited, but like that's how I process it. Is I've written.
I will say though, like you have always been very invested in your writing, not just for the creative portion of it, but from an intellectual standpoint. And so, whereas a lot of us who decide we're going to write, we just start writing one day.
Mhm.
And so for those of us that do it this way, I think it's like I have trouble, like, you and I have talked about how, this thing has just gotten super complicated without me intending it to. This is never supposed to be the big project it's turned into.
Yeah.
And I'm not even done with book 1 yet, but for me, like, I know I'm not going to be able to keep all of those details straight, particularly not on the first run through. I mean, I can't even remember how to pronounce half of my regions.
You
Like,
need a book Bible.
I did, well, and I've started one. Like I did I've got my world building Bible that I built. That is something like 40-page document.
I remember
Um,
reading 20-page one when you started.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's huge. But there's so much blended detail, and it's kind of like building something that's not built with screws and nails, but rather with the interlocking, blocks and trying to make sure all the blocks fit just right
Mm-hmm.
without them just going.
Yes. I actually had a puzzle like that where I made an apple with those
I have a
interlocking
vase,
pieces.
a 3D vase.
It's a hard puzzle to do.
It is, and it's like kind of some of the pieces are kind of like they're not like completely out, but they're knocked out of place because of the move.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's like very narrow necked and then like I can't go in and fix them.
Boo.
And I don't have the thing anymore So like I can't have the picture of it in front of me. Like if it busts apart, I'd be
You'd
clueless.
be shit out of luck. But what you're saying with the way I write and like this being your first book, also remember when I was what, 12 and I used to hang out with
Mhm.
Carrie all the time, how many fan fiction stories that I wrote during
Yeah.
that time. So I've written a lot, and like the first book that I wrote it 5 times before I got to the actual draft that I came, because I wanted to like try to fit a 5 book series into one book, which was completely idiotic. I had to eliminate so many characters because I was like, oh, this is an interesting character, and this isn't. Well, that's great that it's interesting, but it doesn't have anything to do with anything. So,
Right.
and all of my characters had like 2 or 3 nicknames, and it was so convoluted and messed up. Um, so the first book, like the first try was a mess too. Like I get that. Book 2, I got halfway through writing it. I wrote it for my master's program, and the first half I had to go back through and reverse outline it, and then I literally had my whiteboard and I had little index cards with every little plot point on it and to rearrange it until I figured out how that actually worked. Book 3, I had an
Mhm.
outline beforehand, but only like here are the main story threads and here's how each needs to progress, and I color coded it. But it wasn't like a chapter by chapter outline like I do for ghostwriting.
Yeah.
Um, Book 4, I think I had once again the ideas, all the story threads that needed to be pulled through. I have that on my whiteboard still. I'll have to show it to you next time I'm home. Because it's like book 1, book 2, book 3, and then book 4 is the long piece with all the lines going, this thread ends here. This thread goes through to book 5. This ends here with this. And I even had to list all of her powers that came because I gave her so many as it progressed because
Yeah.
of what she becomes at the end of the book. I don't know if I've spoiled that for you yet, but I'm not going to say it out here. Um, but there's a reason she keeps
Sometimes I
gaining
feel like such a
powers.
bad friend because I haven't read them all yet, but I've been waiting for you to finish them because
So you can just read the whole thing. I totally get that. Um, and yet, like the 14 book series that I wrote, I would I had a general like I still have my book Bible because it was
Mhm.
an actual notebook. I drew my map of where they lived, and I figured out what all the clans did and what their specialties were and which character came from which clan, and I had the character outlines and that kind of thing. And then it took me a couple tries to figure out what order to put all of the
They're
men
absolutely
in.
terrible, but I made maps.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
This one's mostly erased by now because we moved. But
You moved in, I'm sure kids.
I had like 5 of these at one point. I took pictures and I put them in a PowerPoint so that I would have them, but it helped me to kind of have that like
Visual.
visual, like as I'm talking about the travel and where we're stopping and things we're seeing and what we're doing. And
Exactly. But when I finally finished my book Bible, like I figured out whose goes first and why each male came to her in the order that they did and how they built on each other and how they would change her. I literally only outlined 10 chapters ahead at a time because if I did any more than that, I was going to make myself have
yeah,
writer's
the Getty
block.
model gets all crazy. And
Yeah. So that was a really fun way of doing that. And I've started to learn when I do my own personal writing, 10 chapters ahead at a time is a good amount ahead at a time. Because sometimes my brain goes, you need something different right here, real quick. So go do
Mhm.
that because this is going to give you this little nugget, and you might know, not my brain might know what it is, but it won't tell me what the connection is until I get there later. And I'm like, oh, that's why I had that chapter in there. Okay. I had no idea. Like that's happened to me so many times where I'm like, I have these little details in there and I don't know what they mean, but I know they need to be there because my
Yeah.
brain's a shit and it won't tell me these things.
So when I first started, I had kind of winged it and kind of like on my outline on my left, because I'm using Scrivener, and so I had kind of like my headings are just sort of like general ideas of what I want to have happen in this section, and then I'll have 3 documents under each heading to kind of help me guide where each chapter was going to go. And yeah, honestly, though, like those are probably I don't even know what I'm going to do with formatting with this thing because it's messy as fuck. But then I went through after I read Save the Cat Writes a Novel, and I started thinking about each plot point for the pacing structure and how they fit in. And so it wasn't like outlining for the sake of outlining to know what I'm going to write, but I was outlining along with what I was learning from that book about pacing and kind of how can I make this section reflect the dark night of the soul, or whichever point in the process that the book was at. And so that's kind of how I wound up fleshing out my outline and what I wanted to have happen each section. And then from there, I mean, it kind of branched off, and like I recently decided that I was going to add some additional POVs in there,
Mm-hmm.
kind of break up some of the Sahara males, Sahara males, Sahara males, Sahara males are like,
Oh, I actually did outline one of my other books using the 3-act structure for romance. So
yeah,
there's like 9 main plot points. I even have a
right.
worksheet for it. And I used that to draft my fan fiction of my own series, which is a published book. But because I killed off one of I killed off my favorite character in my 14 book series, I gave them their happy story like before any of that would have happened. So like there's one line in the book where it's like what would have happened if I had met him on the battlefield, because they were both soldiers. And so
Mhm.
I wrote that story of them meeting on the battlefield, and I used the plot structure of the romance just to hit those beats. And so I was like,
Yeah,
well, this happens. It's like the meet cute, the 3 dates, the initial breakup, the big breakup at the end. And so like all of those things I had planned out ahead of time. Even though I ended up reversing the 2 breakups when I wrote it, because it just made more sense that way. But
yeah.
that's about as far as I can outline too. I would love to read the Save a Cat book. That should be one of our books that we do. I don't know if you've read the
Absolutely.
whole thing, but
I,
it'd still be fun to discuss.
yeah, and I think it'd be good for me to go back through it. I really have been slacking on Story Genius, which really is fun because it's a really good reference. But there's only so many things my brain can handle at a time.
I would probably also want to keep a notebook of notes, because that's the kind of learner I am, honestly. You should see my binder for when I taught classes. I had a binder, and I had every day I had tabbed for what I would
I'm
teach that day.
absolutely confident that you did.
And I had a schedule. Did I ever tell you that? Because I printed my schedule with my syllabus.
Did you? I remember exactly what your planners looked like in high school. I know Connor has planners now. Only his are like normal size papers. Ours were like this big.
I didn't use my planner so much in high school as I should have, though, to be honest. But my favorite comment was a student who was an equal planner like I was. And she's like,
Mhm.
"You're the only teacher I've ever had give me a schedule and a syllabus and actually stick to it."
So I
She's like,
have
"I
this.
actually know what's going to happen in class."
This was given to me, I think, for my birthday by my friend Brittany back in California. When she found out I was writing a book, she gave me this.
It's
And this is where I
pretty.
put all my sticky notes because I was too lazy to rewrite them, which I wound up doing anyway. But I haven't used it yet, so it would be a good opportunity for some of the reference books. And then I also have, look at this. I'm terrible because I will go out and buy the fancy planners and then never use them. I have,
Yep.
and this is after I downsized too. Like I have Clever Fox,
Oh,
which I don't know if you've ever used the Clever Foxes.
I
They're kind
recognize
of,
the brand though.
they're like a whole thing. Like I have a look. It comes with an instruction manual. Ugh,
I use the Leuchtturm personally.
like I don't even think I've ever written in this at all.
It's not a dated planner, is it?
It's not dated. It is in like it doesn't have October starting on a Wednesday or whatever, but it does have like you write the month and year in. I know it's backwards, but like month and year, and then like you just keep track of on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, whatever.
Okay.
But it also came with stickers.
I have a lot of planner stickers too that I wish I used and I don't. Yes, stuff like that. I
Yeah.
love it.
So like, I mean, some of this will be useful, but like, I mean, I'm really not going to use like the money charts and the family charts and the workout charts because if I was going to use this, it'd be for something other than personal shit. But I've gotten rid of it because they're expensive. Like,
It reminds me, I need to get a planner, my planner for next year.
but then I also have but wait, there's more.
Oh goodness.
Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No, I have. Oh, this is a good one. Book Lovers Journal.
Ooh.
So, like, it's got sections for book reviews, wish list, um, like a book review, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it asks for the basic information and then like all of your review points.
Have I shown you my book planner?
I think so.
It's my thick baby.
I love the color.
Oh, this is the only one I've ever found in this this size, which is a Happy Planner Junior. That it's got a really nice texture. It's sturdy and it's not plastic. That's what I love about it. I haven't been in this as much as I should have. But this ooh, I just hit myself in the face in my glasses with it. It's heavy. The majority of my planner, more than half of it, is my challenge reads because I'm ridiculous.
I have another one around here somewhere that was specifically for use for book clubs, and I don't know what happened to it. I haven't seen it since we moved. I might have got rid of it. I don't know.
I know
But I
we
had
were gonna
bought it
do
because
book
I
club
jumped the
planners.
gun. Because I had been in a book club for like 3 months, and then it just dissipated because everybody got busy with life. You know what else I have over here? This has nothing to do with books. Remember this?
Oh goodness.
You made this for me for my birthday one year.
Oh my goodness. How long ago was that?
I know you put it together in your room in mom's basement.
Oh my God. So
It was a
18 to
while ago.
22, somewhere around there.
Yeah. All the high school shit.
Anything that's shareable? Because we were ridiculous in high school. Prom pictures. Oh,
We were seriously ridiculous.
yes, we were. I had 2 dates to prom. Both were just friends, but I still had 2 dates to prom.
Pictures back when I was so skinny, my head looked enormous.
I remember at that prom, Nate kept eating the rose petals on the table.
Maybe for our friend Donna. May she
Did you?
terrorize Valhalla in peace.
Yes. Did I tell you that the picture they used for her obituary was one that I took of her?
Was it?
It was one for my photography degree because I took she was my model for a lot of my photography stuff.
I still have some of the ones you took of me on my Facebook profile.
Oh, the old artistic me. Wanted to be a photographer and own my own magazine. Write the articles, take the pictures, do the whole thing myself. Is it no wonder I became a publisher?
You know what's crazy is we left more than half of this book blank and never filled it because we went digital with the pictures.
When I did my photography degree, we had one digital photography class and we did Photoshop it, and it was like the really, really old version. Like I was 20. So 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was ridiculous. But I colorized a picture of Danny when he was a child. I remember doing that. I fixed some of the
Did
cracks
you?
and stuff in it, and I colorized it. It was
I
fun.
had this old film that I started back in California when I was working on one of the projects that I did was I was working on motion blur, specifically water motion blur, because we live near Big Sur, so lots of really cool like waves and crashing and stuff. And yeah, so like that was one of them. But I didn't finish the project, and I wanted to use the camera at Christy's wedding. So is up here like bullshitting around taking pictures of my office, and tell me why these came out looking really cool for no good fucking reason. Although I will say, I was slightly annoyed because the reason I paid somebody else to develop this film was because I don't like it when I get the little corner because I can't roll film on a floater to save my life. I'm pissed about that.
Man.
Not happy about that at all. But yeah, so I was just screwing around and like that looks really cool, I think.
Black and white
That's
does
my pinhole camera.
black and white does cool stuff to normal everyday objects.
Normal fit. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I don't think. Oh. Yeah, no. There's just weird shit like apple picking. That's what I was gonna show you. We went apple picking and I took some pictures to finish off that roll down. This one, like there's some motion blur in there, but I think it came out really cool. Just a bunch of apples rotting on the ground.
That brings me back to apple picking because we win every year.
The whole time we were there, I was thinking about you and Mom. The whole time.
I remember breaking a tree one year, trying to climb it. Cutie.
Yeah. She was having because they had like the apple that I kept trying to explain to her that like when you and I went, we weren't using an apple picker, we were climbing trees.
Mm-hmm.
Eating.
She should be monkey enough to do that. Babe, it is close to 9:30 and I still have work to do. So we had good conversations. We are gonna skip next week, but we should probably come up with a theme for the week after. We don't have to do that right now, but we should
That
probably.
and you know what we need to set before I'm gonna hold us accountable and we are gonna set a reading goal
Okay.
for that. So let's pick our reference book.
Okay.
We'll set a goal. And then when do we want to be done with One Dark Window? Do we want to make that like end of the month or
Good question. I think
don't
end
know
of
how
the
long
month
it
is
is.
good. Let me look up how long
You know,
it
if
is.
I like it, I'll sit down and read it in one go, but
Ditto.
that's not the optimal way to do it when you're reading for critique purposes, but
It depends. I usually do it in quarters if I'm going to do it for critique purposes, I guess. 432 pages.
okay.
So if we want to do 100 pages a week, it's also if you enjoy it and I enjoy it, which I think we're going to, just taking notes while you read
Yeah.
is helpful because I know I'm doing
So
my read along differently.
do we want to set a goal for when to be done and then discuss, or do we want to discuss as we go and just set a goal of like X number of pages a week? Because we could do it that way and then do the reference book the same way, or we could just set an end date and be done by the end date like a book club.
It's a good question. Can I think about it? I don't think I have it in me to make the decision tonight.
What was the other one we were gonna do? The Staircase in the Woods?
Staircase in the Woods, yeah, and then what Poison Princess?
Yeah. So why don't we break up One Dark Window and Staircase in the Woods? We'll put Poison Princess in the middle.
Okay. Sounds good. For the fiction books, I think doing half and half. Like I don't think we need to break up in fours, but if we get to the midway point, I think it's a good place to stop and discuss what's happening, what's built up to the midpoint, what we expect after the midpoint, and then because it's almost like two different structures of the book, right? All of that build up to where the heavy action in the middle should be. Well, sometimes it's heavy action in the middle, sometimes it's slog, so it really depends on the book, but it should be building at that point pretty steady. And I'm imagining from what I've read from her before, it will be. So I know it's a duology too, so we have to keep that in mind.
We're not meeting for 2 weeks, so why don't we just read what we can in the next 2 weeks? We'll touch base before we do our next live, see where we're at, and then evaluate. So let's evaluate. I need a calendar.
21st?
Yeah, so the 21st will be the next live. So let's evaluate on the, do we want to maybe on Sunday, that Sunday the 19th, kind of evaluate where we're at and, okay, so.
Also, do we
Yeah.
do we have like a structure we want to discuss? Like, I don't know if you know what Cawpile is.
Not a clue.
Cawpile is a review system that people use, which is character, atmosphere, world building. I think plot, intrigue, or interest. I don't remember what L is. What was L? E is entertainment. Logic and entertainment. If you look up Cawpile, it will break that down a little bit better for you. But that might be an interesting way of like discussing. And we can hit all of the things. I always find it's better to have a structure when you analyze versus just going willy-nilly at it.
Spell that acronym for me one more time.
CAWPILE.
I'm over here like COP, like, oh,
I know hearing it's kind of like, what? Cawpile? What?
I wonder if they make like these in that format.
I've seen those. It's a pretty popular review system, especially among booktubers. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's some digital stuff out there. If I'm gonna do that, I'm
but I
gonna
was
make
thinking
it
like if I
myself.
could get like a hard copy like this, and I don't know.
Or even
We'll
just a
see.
worksheet to print out.
Yeah. Also, well, so my printer shit the bed, and I've been internally debating with myself on whether I need to buy a new one right now or not because you know we're moving to Japan next year. But I think
You
I'm
have a
leaning
local
toward.
library?
Yeah, but I'm kind of leaning towards getting one anyway because a lot of the photographic processes that I want to work with over the next year have to do with transparencies,
Mhm.
and it's kind of a pain in the ass trying to figure out where I can print transparencies the way I need them printed because a lot of the places that will print them do laserjet and they need to be inkjet.
I like the printer mom got me. It's the one that she has here, which is oh my God. I think it's Epson, and it's the one where it's got the refillable wells in it. Oh my goodness.
So those ones, particularly if you're using the what do they call it? It's like super chromium ink. It's a special Epson ink that we used for these particular types of transparencies. Oh, those are school pictures. I don't know what I'm doing. But specifically the ones that we did, like the like the alcohol lifts and the Purell transfers,
Mm-hmm.
because the ink just tends to work really well. Why do I have so many?
Hmm.
I have a lot of these. Yeah. I really have a lot of those. Okay, cool. But it gets tricky trying to find somebody that can print transparencies the way I need them done. So I'd rather just do them at home.
I will send you a picture of what the name of that printer is so you can
Okay.
find it easy. I have found that it's been really amazing. And I mean, I print book covers all the time for my stickers, and I haven't even gone
Nice.
through half my ink. So
Yeah, I've heard that they'll print like
it's like
some
an
of the
eco.
Epson ones. Yeah, some of them will print something like 75,000 color pages before you need to change out any ink. It's not.
It's awesome. But before we get distracted,
Yes.
I still have work to do, and I'm failing.
Okay.
I'm
So
failing at staying awake.
all right. So
The
we
19th.
got One Dark Window. What's our reference book that we want to start with?
I
We
was
need to
thinking that
identify that. Because if we
I was
don't do it
thinking
now while we're accountable, we won't do it until next time.
the butter one.
What's the
Only
title again?
because I have to find it. What's the butter writing book? The Universal Fantasy. Let's see, make sure I'm going. That's it's seven figure fiction, how to use universal fantasy to sell your books to anyone. It also
Okay.
apparently has a workbook.
Do we want to do the
very
workbook?
That's a good question. I don't have the workbook. I have the book. What is let me see what the workbook is.
And do we want to aim for, what
I
we say,
figured
one
one part at a
part per
time.
week?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do part 1 and we'll discuss part 1 in 2 weeks.
Okay. That sounds good. I should be home by then, where the book is. And maybe as we read it, we'll decide if we need the workbook or not.
Okay.
I'm not the kind of person who generally needs a workbook. I can usually write stuff out myself. So, being a former teacher, I'm good at that kind of shit.
See, my problem with that is like I will write out everything.
I get you. But we'll see what kind of like things she wants you to do with the book to figure out what the butter is. And the reason I want to start with that one is because it was so highly recommended by my boss. And what I've heard from her about what other authors have said about that book.
Okay.
And I know Romancing the Beat was another one that she mentioned in the same vein that was really popular amongst people who made $1 million on their books a year.
Mhm.
So I also want to do Story Genius too, though. So like, I need to buy that book still.
Yeah, that and the Save the Cat.
Yes.
Um,
Part of me wonders if I can get those at my library because I'm cheap.
I
But
think
I can write it off of my taxes.
for our, I know we said we'd talk about this later, but I just had an idea for our discussion, like the meat of our discussion next time. I think we should talk about adaptations.
I'll write that down.
Like we can hit like live action versus animated, what we love, what we hate, who did it best, who did it worse.
The elements of an adaptation and the purpose of it, because guess what I used to teach?
I think we could hit a good discussion on that one.
Sounds good. Okay, it's time for pie.
Yes. In bed, because I haven't
Yes.
slept good lately.
I understand. Okay, well, thank you everybody who was here, who stopped by, who said hi. And we will be talking about adaptations and possibly a book next time.
2 books.
2 books next time. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Bye.
Bye.